Firm and the Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakwood Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870 or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Here's Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. Doug Sunseri, Albert. Michelle Demarest Sunseri. All things legal. I did it again.
You did it again.
All things legal. Give us a call, 260-1870, or text us at the Oakwood Heart Talk and Text line. Albert's not here this weekend. Albert is actually getting holy right now.
He's getting holy.
He's at the Cenacle.
Oh, well, I guess it's.
Oh, we shouldn't. Yeah. He's at a retreat. And
that's a good place for him.
Yes. So they have, they actually let lawyers at the Cenacle in there because
there's nothing wrong with
don't continue that line. No. So Albert's there getting holy, I guess, and receiving spiritual guidance.
He's probably just taking a break.
He's receiving, and also he's probably went to bed early, woke up early.
Yeah, I think it's probably dry there.
Probably had a little wine.
Oh, you
just
wine there?
Just a little wine. It's the good kind of wine. The eternal, the wine that gives you eternal life. Oh. So there you go. So
did wake up early, went to bed.
Yes, but and also too, we're going to be out the next 3 weeks. So we're going to take. I've been doing this for 18 years.
I know, you just need a break.
Need a break, and so we're going to take off 3 weeks, and Albert will be. He's lined up some hosts for the next 3 weeks, and so tune in. Yes, we're going to be finishing our 18th year, which means if I do it 12 more years, I'll catch up with Johnny Carson.
Your goal.
That would be 30. I'd be 76. Well, maybe not. Who knows?
Let's just take it one day at a time.
Take it one day at a time. And so again, Albert will be on next 3 weeks. Nothing happened to us. We're just going to take some time off and enjoy ourselves. Enjoy Sundays, and then football season will be right after this. Now this is the last weekend that they're not going to have football because Saints training camp starts next week.
No. So the drought is about over.
When people are excited about the World Cup, it's sort of slow.
There's a lot of people who like soccer, but there's a lot of people.
I enjoyed.
What did we hear? Somebody said, "Oh, I'm glad I can stop pretending for the last 3 weeks that soccer was a true sport."
We're getting in trouble.
I like soccer. I don't understand the rules. I had a good time watching it.
Well, the good part is if you missed a game, you only need about 20 seconds to watch the highlights on SportsCenter.
I think it's kind of like baseball. You only really have to watch the end.
Yeah, baseball's got, they say it's 5 minutes of action stretched out into 3 hours. NBA basketball is what you need to watch at the end because they just sort of run around. And in the fourth quarter, they're probably tied with about 8 minutes to go, and they start playing.
Yeah.
During the regular season. But so the Saints, man, it's just a lot of optimism. Really, really, just nationally, this is a different kind of team, and I think this is the first time in a long time that we're going to watch a Saints team improving, or to see where the ceiling is. Because even in 17, 18, 19, when Drew Brees was in his last few years, we were like, okay, can we hold on for another couple of years before Drew retires? So it wasn't like we had hit the ceiling.
Right.
We were just hoping the ceiling was enough to get us to the Super Bowl. But now it's just sort of more of an adventure and to see where we're going to go. And it's just the only thing that could derail us are injuries.
We usually have a lot of injuries.
Yes. And they're probably doing some things differently that may change that. But yes, there injuries now. Our friend on the inside, he said he knows if he's listening, he knows who he is.
Okay.
He thought that the key was the center, Eric McCoy, staying healthy, because he's had a difficult couple years, been injured a lot, but being the center, he's sort of the anchor of the offensive line. And we've improved with David Edwards. Got another year for the young tackles. Mm-hmm. And that was always Kellen Moore's philosophy at Dallas and Philadelphia. Big offensive linemen run first, open up the passing game. That was his philosophy. And if Eric McCoy stays healthy,
why is it just one that has to stay healthy?
The center is sort of like the quarterback of the offensive line. He makes the calls. He's sort of the person who holds everything together. In fact, they had some statistics about centers who were hurt in the record. Like if you had a center that was hurt, what their record was versus when they were healthy, or you had a second string center. I think Mike Cotillier said that. It was very interesting. And of course, Shuck's got to stay healthy. But those are two people who really need to stay healthy, which is sort of things happen. But it's very exciting. I mean, I haven't felt this way probably since 06-ish, maybe, or maybe when Sean Payton came back a little bit after the probably 06, I guess. And as far as like, okay, this is a new team, they're ascending. It's exciting to see where the ceiling's going to be.
In the year we won the Super Bowl?
Well, I think they were there. In other words, they hit their ceiling. They hit their ceiling, and that was good enough to win the Super Bowl. I mean, they were like, "We're good. We're really good." But now it's basically a new team. It bears little resemblance to the team that he inherited with Dennis Allen. In fact, I don't think Alvin Kamara and Cam Jordan would have come back if they didn't think they had something with Tyler Shuck. I think they just moved on. I think part of the reason is they think there's something that's happening. And Coach Moore is sort of a different kind of coach in the sense that he's very, very intentional, very smart, very efficient. And he's just sort of himself. He doesn't wave his arms. He's just very, very straightforward. And there's two philosophies in coaching. You can either, like the Nick Saban, is just sort of torture your players into high performance, or you get buy-in, and each has its advantages and disadvantages. And Bum Phillips was like a buy-in kind of coach. He wasn't loud. He just sort of he's the kind of coach you wanted to play for, like sort of likable but straightforward. So each has advantage and disadvantage. Doesn't mean he's going to win, but that's the philosophy that he's taking. And the players today probably respond a lot better today to, I got sort of sandwich coaching, meaning you tell them something good, you tell them what they're doing wrong, you tell them good. Like,
That's exhausting.
Just
be straightforward.
I think he understands the pulse a little bit more, because I don't think today's players would respond very well to the Bill Parcells, Nick Saban-ish.
Well, Nick Saban, I think college is much different than the NFL.
Right.
They get to the NFL and they think they're men and they don't want to be treated like children.
Well, he was in the NFL for 2 years.
He still did the same thing?
Yes, and that's why he jumped back to college. But it's just a different time. And hopefully now, Coach Moore was like a third-tier pick. I mean, the Saints tried to pick a couple other coaches, and they took other jobs, and he was maybe a second, third pick, which sometimes it works out great.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. It's just a lot of optimism. It's fun again. I mean, it hadn't been fun in the last 5 years.
No, I know. I've been watching.
It's just like, oh, why are they doing this? Why are they underachieving? Why did they get Derek Carr? Oh my gosh. And there's just a lot of short-term decisions maybe that were under the false belief that we were a couple players away from contending again, and they kept mortgaging the future and getting veteran players who didn't work out. And, the change in philosophy is very good. So very, very, very excited. And LSU is only, what is today? 26, 5, about 40 some odd day, maybe about 40 some odd days away. So that's close. And who knows with Lane Kiffin?
It'll be interesting.
If people, from nationally are asking me, how's he going to do? I said, I have no idea. I mean, he's just sort of so hard to peg.
And because he's all over the place, or is it nebulous?
He's just an interesting fella. He's an introvert, but he's always on, social media.
Well, don't you think a
he's
lot of
socially
introverts become extroverts on social media because you don't have to do anything?
Because you don't have to go face to face.
Yeah, you're behind the screen.
And he's a genius, but he's unpredictable. He's
an anomaly.
Yeah, and he's, I don't know. I'm hoping he does well. And the biggest key is he's got all these portal players, and he did that at Ole Miss. And how do you get those players playing together in a short period of time? And that's the big key. And some of the schools are going to do a different philosophy. Like Ole Miss probably can't compete with LSU financially. So they're going to probably focus on, let's get players in, let's develop them for 3 years and hoping we can keep in the program so we have continuity. And so they're hoping more maybe somebody approach like Indiana, maybe. But LSU is, how are you going to get all these players to play together? Now that was part of Brian Kelly's undoing. He couldn't do it. He couldn't get them. He had all these portal players, number one portal class, and he just couldn't get them to play together in such a short period of time. Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm hopeful. They at the SEC media, they picked them 5th out of 16 teams, which would indicate maybe a 9-3 season, probably on the borderline of getting in the BCS, maybe not. So it's a big mystery. You don't know. And Sam Levitt, he could be anywhere from okay to a Heisman Trophy candidate. You just don't know.
Yeah.
And Sam Levitt's a quarterback.
Yeah.
He got that. And it seems like he's healthy. And they have, they have a lot of talent. It's just rounding it in. And also too, for the following years, he is just basically recruiting 5-star prospects, which is much like Alabama did under Saban.
Right.
So time will tell. We'll see. It will be interesting to compare and contrast Lane Kiffin and John Summerall. John Summerall went from Tulane to Florida. And I thought Coach Summerall would be phenomenal for LSU. Right. I think he would be a lot more stable. He'd be a guy who would stay there for 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
More of a stable guy. He's not going to chase the new girl in the ballroom, and he's not as how can you say? He'll probably be there in Florida for a while.
Yeah, I think stable is
So we'll see. We'll see how their career in the next 5 to 6 years track. And Summerall's probably got a similar philosophy where he's probably going to try to keep his players in the program and build continuity. So we'll see. But this is the last non-week of football. Like you said, we don't have to pretend we love World Cup. Get in trouble. It was okay. I mean, it was okay. I mean, it was sort of, anytime you watch a world championship, it's always fun.
Oh, sure. And I appreciated the athletes and everything.
And they were good.
Yeah.
They were good. And I don't know anything about it, but Spain was played Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I mean, they couldn't get a shot off.
Right.
And then they got the red card for whatever they got the red card for, and they were down a player, and that was probably it. But we're done. We're done with the drought. the desert's over next week. Start having reports on training camp, which poor Hokie guys
Uh-huh.
hated training camp because he had to make content about things he thought wasn't worthy of content.
To report on it.
Yeah, because training camp's it's just practice.
Yeah.
It's just practice.
Yeah.
So
Does everybody report? Is everybody
oh
reporting?
yeah. They're out there. Like everything that happens out there is magnified.
Sure.
But it's football, so thank goodness. But poor Hokie's like he's in heaven right now, saying, "Oh my gosh, I don't have to make content on training camp." So there you go. All right, let's go to break. We'll actually talk some more. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
The IRS is more aggressive than ever, and your tax problems won't disappear on their own. They're holding your life hostage, wrecking your credit, your peace of mind, and your future. Hi, I'm Danielle with Go Tax Resolution. We specialize in resolving delinquent tax issues and will help protect your bank account, your wages, and your assets. Don't wait until the bank. Don't bury your business savings. Begin your life.
What goes back
Call us
there?
at 985-722-1040 or visit us at gotaxresolution.com.
You know who that is?
That's GEAUX.
Who?
Taxresolution.com. The IRS is ramping up collections, and that means
Big fat
more
girl
ways
from
for
church.
bank
Who?
levies,
Big
and
fat
federal
girl
taxes.
from church.
Hi, I'm Caitlin with Go Tax
From Greg's church.
You owe back taxes. Big time.
That's her?
Not this one, the other one.
The IRS will let
That's
you.
her.
At Go
You
Tax
sabotage?
Resolution, we know how to protect your
What
assets
was it?
and your peace
Go
of mind.
tax.
Call Go Tax Resolution.
That's her right now?
No, it's the other girl. It was just another one.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That's GEAUX-taxresolution.com. This is Lisa Stover. Heard that weight loss with hypnosis type? Well, I attended to the child and stop smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food. Made me want to exercise.
That's the video.
Pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded.
That's
I went
settings.
to another session to deal with some other problems.
I don't know where you're.
In fact, the
This is mom.
and he lost weight.
That's video.
Cholesterol and blood pressure improved.
The only weight loss
This is mom.
useful by the US patent.
Maybe virtual background.
Your subconscious, engineered to kill cravings, emotional eating,
Audio.
fridge attacks, all on half the food. So you lose the weight and keep it off. 10 pounds, 30, whatever your goal. Only $59.99 or your money back. Weight loss seminar Thursday, August 6th. Courtyard by Marriott, Metairie, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 8th. Courtyard by Marriott, Covington, Vanderbilt, 11 a.m. Stop smoking 2 p.m. Sign up at alexgoen.com. GOEN. That's alexgoen.com.
Some people say paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At El Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money. Because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully.
I just don't know why you don't
So next
have.
time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to hell. Let us steer you right.
Here's a World Soccer Championship Team Spotlight, brought to you by the first ever Infinity QX65 and by Lowe's. Members get more at Lowe's. Spain, world champions once again. This is the golden generation announcing itself on the sport's biggest stage. Spain's next wave has already delivered a title. Maybe more to come. World champions, Spain, takes over the globe once again. What if life's great? Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour. And dead leaves in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spray. That good news. Leave dead leaves flying wherever we kill it. Or join us at the Open Park Tours on the text line 504-260-1178.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. I told Mario
I was going to
play
ask you.
country.
Okay.
Is that? Did you know that song?
So leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
It's an
sings
old
that?
song. Dolly Parton.
The Dolly Parton.
Huh?
Do you like old country and new country or both?
Probably New Country a little
Like
better.
who? Okay, tell me the people you like. Zach Brown.
Yeah.
Who else?
Morgan Wallace.
Morgan Wallace.
I remember my brain went dead right now.
You right?
Yeah.
Who sings the chicken fried?
Zach Brown.
Zach Brown. All right. So it's more the
Florida Georgia line.
Florida Georgia line. He sings that too.
No, it's the name of the band.
You like Garth Brooks?
I do.
Oh, everybody loves Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
Calling Baton Rouge. Who doesn't? Maybe some people in Tuscaloosa doesn't care for it somewhere. But all right. Well, wanted to talk a little bit about the boomers are coming of age, and after 1945, there was a lot of multiplication and a lot of
Multiplication.
yes, a lot of what do you call it when people having a lot of babies.
They were multiplying. You talking about rabbits? Yeah, people had babies.
Yeah, but lots after the war.
Well, no, the men came home.
The men came home and they were tired of being in Europe and restarted their families.
Sure.
And had a period of prosperity after the war where we sort of became the world superpower, and now they're coming to age. And the baby boomers and the post World War II, they had very I guess their parents came out of depression, and money was hard to come by, and they were very, very cautious with money. Credit cards were
A non-thing.
not right, and you only spent what you had, and they saved, and and then you had a lot of people who worked for corporations like 3M, IBM. They're starting out, and oil companies down here, Texaco and Exxon and so on, Shell. And then by the time they retired, they contributed to it, and the 401ks, just grew, and they amassed a lot of wealth.
Especially the oil companies, because they did the 401ks and they got a pension.
Yes, like the Entergy, the old Entergy.
You don't see that many new pensions these days.
No. But they're coming to age. They're in their 70s, and their 80s, and even 90s, and they've accumulated a lot of money. And it's just basically based on habits and saving, living within their means, which is a lot different than the generations maybe younger than us. There seem to be more, there's probably been more instability in their life, in the sense that maybe, they've had maybe changing families, credit, financial issues, the use of credit. People had no problem going into a lot of consumer credit and sort of living above their means. So you've had one generation that were savers, and then you have a generation below them that were more consumer oriented and spenders.
I think there's one in between. This is what I've noticed in my business. When I first started, and you would see credit card debt, it was for major purchases. You would never see people paying interest on groceries and consumables.
Right.
And now, and even like when credit card, we used to, when I was growing up, my parents wrote checks. Even kind of when I was starting off, we wrote checks to the groceries. The thought of putting groceries on a credit card was like because I don't care. I don't carry credit card debt. It was just a non-thought. And then as it became, checks became non-existent. And I think the debit card, I would be interested to see a study on what the debit card did for consumer spending.
Yeah.
But now when I'm looking at people's credit card debts doing either successions or community property partitions, I mean, you'll see people paying 21% interest on their groceries.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And you remember I remember going to Swagman's with my parents, and they write a check.
Yeah.
And they sit there and they have to click, and they put the check in the cash register. It was just it was a different.
Yeah,
deal.
they've taken it like they write your driver's license on it or something.
Right. But my point is, now that the baby boomers are coming of age and they're doing their estate planning and then moving to going to heaven, most of them, I guess, hopefully. there's going to be a great wealth transfer, the greatest wealth transfer from one generation to the other in the history of mankind. So, I mean, there's some very interesting statistics between now and 2048. $124 trillion is going to transfer from one generation to another.
Wow.
That's
a lot of money.
And now, if you're the recipient of that money, you should be nice to your parents because it's happening. And in fact, of that 124 trillion that's going to pass, 105 trillion is going to pass to the children. That's a lot of bread there. And about 18 trillion is expected to go to charitable organizations. So basically, nearly $100 trillion of wealth will come from the baby boomers and older generations, representing 81% of the wealth transfer. It's just incredible. And that's posing already very unique problems as far as estate planning.
Oh, sure.
And what we're finding, there's all kinds of related issues, such as the exploitation of the senior citizens.
Elder abuse.
Then due to that generation, maybe a consumer generation saying, this is my chance to cash in. I've spent my time, my life, I've been spending more than I make. I've had some difficulties in my life, maybe had some issues regarding spending or with substance abuse or something. So I'm sitting here in my 50s without a lot of money, and my parents are in their 80s and they got they got some coin there.
Yeah.
And so let me move in on this, very subtly on, maybe getting in on that in a way to the exclusion of the other children. And so that's happening. In fact, there's more cases of financial abuse of senior citizens than there is
child abuse.
Yeah, child abuse. And so it's very interesting. And a lot of times for the baby boomers, if they don't tie things up neatly in a bow through estate planning, they're just going to cause a free-for-all.
Well, I think our practice over succession litigation has increased.
It's just exponentially increased.
It's crazy. And people will fight. I can't figure out if it's that they need the money and they think that they should have gotten their parents' money, or is it just childhood wounds in these families and the kids can't stand one another?
It's both. It's a combination of both. I'll talk about the psychological aspect of it, which you have to deal with when trying to settle these cases, because you have to get through the emotional part before you can deal with the financial aspect of trying and settling in a state where they have a succession fight. And it causes real problems because a lot of clients want to fight the emotional issues in the financial aspect of the case.
Right.
But what I think happens is a couple of things. One, you have siblings who are still upset that one sibling pushed the other sibling off the swing set when they were 6.
And then mom didn't do anything.
And it just went from there.
Yeah.
It just went from there. And sometimes parents have done, and I've seen this with businesses. One business where the kids fought for 25 years, where the parent was horrible, and he would play the kids against each other. He would go to child number 1, child number 2, and child number 3, and talk bad about the other 2, and go to the other, and kept doing that. And then they were fighting, and he would step in like this, like the savior. So a lot of it is, the parents just pitting their kids against their other kids, not doing very good parenting there. Maybe they did well in other aspects, but not in that aspect. And so they're upset and they're mad, and they know that they were sort of bounded together artificially while mom and dad were in their advanced stages of life, And so they were sort of on good behavior, not so much, but enough where they kept their lid on. And they understand this is the last time that maybe I'm going to have interaction with my sibling. So I want to land a few right hooks and a few jabs at them before we go our own ways, because there's nothing that's going to keep them together once mom and dad are gone.
Right.
Because they can't stand each other to begin with.
Right.
So they can't, before they'd be at Christmas staring at each other across the room and, just not wanting to be there, but being there because, to make mom and dad happy. But I think one of the things is they know this is the last time that we're going to be artificially bound together. So I want to take some shots at them before they go their own way. And they do that by using the succession and fighting over a lot of issues that ultimately have no financial consequence, except they're going to spend a lot of money fighting over something that's relatively worthless.
Right. Well, and the person who winds up suffering the most is the lawyer, because you can't solve the problem because the problem's not solvable in the legal system.
Yes, no, that's right. What you have to do as a lawyer is try to explain what issues can be addressed in the succession litigation, what can't.
Sure.
And you could see the judges when when they're fighting, some of the issues that sort of rolling their eyes, and they say, call you in the back and say, okay,
yeah,
we're not listening to all this.
Yeah, client management is a big thing.
And I think a lot a lot of clients want the judge to say, you were a bad sibling and you treated your father horribly, or you treated your mother horribly. And they want some type of emotional ratification or emotional, or someone who has authority to say that, but it's not going to happen.
No, I know. We see that in
it's family
actions. Yeah.
Right. In fact, like when I did divorce, you and Katie do most of it. When I would have a client come in and say, I just want to drag my wife or husband through the mud in this divorce proceeding, I sort of run them out the office, because I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah, because you can't manage
you can't, and that's not what it's for. It's all it is for. If it's a community property settlement, it's to divide it in half. Sure. and move on. It's no, you're not going to get a gold star for being a good husband. You're not going to, or a good wife, and you're not going to have your finger wagged at saying you were a bad husband. They're just going to split up the property and split up the succession. Now, if they took some money that they wasn't supposed to, or they, mom and dad are homebound and they have like $3,000 charges at the Beau Rivage, that's going to come back. And
they're still not going to wag their finger at it. They're going to have to repay it.
That they're repaying it. So, but that's those are some of the issues that are very interesting. We'll get more into it, but let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out. See, something's wrong with my. See how my sound's doing. Might have to get a new microphone.
What are you doing?
Just checking the sound. See, my sound's not going.
What?
The sound's not going.
What are you doing?
Just checking the sound.
What?
The sound's not going.
What are you doing? What?
The sound's not going. See the sound. I don't know what's going on with the sound.
biting before you even turn the grill on?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and this is where
The toy truck collects enough rainwater for the mosquitoes to move in?
Yeah, Robbie used to love the Mega.
Mega Hauler 4000.
Exactly, until
The Mega Hauler 5000 All-Terrain Pro Max Ultra Deluxe Limited Collector's Edition.
just be home my dinner.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Doug Sunseri with the new Sunseri Law Firm and host of All Things Legal on Sunday mornings on WWL, AM, FM, and .com.
And I'm Michelle Demarest, Sunseri. Let the Sunseri Law Firm help you with your estate, probate, family, and business issues.
And I'm their daughter, attorney Katie Sunseri, and we do make the complex understandable.
Call Doug and Katie at our Metairie office at 504-214-9111.
Or you can call me, the boss lady, in Mandeville at 985-624-9697.
Katie, tell everyone who's really the boss.
I'm taking the fifth on that one.
With Entergy New Orleans' Energy Smart Automated Demand Response Program, it's simple. Save energy, earn cash, and reinvest those dollars back into your organization. By using less energy during times of high demand, you can turn everyday energy management into real business value. Learn more at EnergySmartADR.com or call 504-784-0640 to speak with a business energy expert today. That's EnergySmartADR.com or call 504-784-0640 today. Before you throw it away, get it appraised at Southern Coins and Precious Metals.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan.
Hold up. You only have one that says, one information can you give me when I make a will if I'm married with 3 adult kids?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go to that text with Michelle. You can answer that. Okay. When we get back, I'll go to that text. I'll get you to read it out.
Okay.
358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
It's All Things Legal on WWL and streaming live on the Odyssey, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio apps. To consult with Doug Sunseri or Albert Nico, call their office at 504-837-1304 or connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Why do I get all weepy when I hear that song?
Because you love Baton Rouge. You love LSU.
There you go. We got a text. We're going to get Mario to read. What you got for us, Mario?
All right. 985 number is asking, what information can you give me when I make a will if I'm married with 3 adult kids, like a list of paperwork or anything else? Thank you.
A list of paperwork.
Like what they need to bring in?
Yeah.
Typically, I just asked, I don't really have to see documents. I ask people what kind of assets they have. A lot of people's main assets are in retirement accounts or 401ks, IRAs, annuities, and so those are not governed by your will. Those fall outside of your will. So I always remind people to check
Okay.
your beneficiary
Why don't
statement.
when you say that, what do you mean by that?
Well, accounts where you can designate a beneficiary. Upon your death, the beneficiary, it becomes the owner, it becomes the asset of the beneficiary. So it's not governed by your will, meaning you don't have to have a will to have it go to those people. So when we open successions, we're not allocating or dealing with assets that automatically passed upon death via life insurance, annuities, 401ks, IRAs. The only financial accounts we deal with are bank accounts, any kind of stock account, any kind of financial account that you don't have a beneficiary tied to it. And those are governed, or your will does control where those assets go.
Yeah, the only time that a life insurance policy, 401k, or annuity would be part of the estate or the will
is if you didn't have a beneficiary.
Or if the beneficiary is listed is deceased,
right,
and they don't have an alternate beneficiary.
Correct. So you don't have a beneficiary. So it would fall in but it falls in testate.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so it wouldn't be governed by your will. It falls
Unless you have a provision in your will that says
anything that falls. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess you could do that as well.
Yes.
And so typically when I'm talking to people and they are I want to use the word intact. I don't really know what else to use, but it's an original mom and dad and kids. You don't have a blended family. Typically we talk about what it looks like to create a usufruct, or whether all assets should pass from one spouse to the next spouse, and then the last spouse standing or the surviving spouse gives it to the kids. And it just really depends.
A lot of people are confused what a usufruct is. What is that?
A usufruct is the ability to use and enjoy something you don't own. For example, let's say it's a house that you bought during the marriage, so it's community. Upon the death of one spouse, the surviving spouse's 1/2 of ownership of that house goes to their estate. The deceased spouse, his half goes to his estate. If you have a usufruct, the surviving spouse, let's say it's the wife, she gets to use and enjoy the husband's half, but she doesn't have ownership of it. And the usufruct would lift if she got remarried or if she died.
But if you had a will,
if you have a will, you can make it go longer. You can do it for life, even if they get married. You can expand their power, saying they have the ability to sell it, to manage it, to lease it, to encumber it, to dispose of it. But you still have to make an accounting. You're still not,
right?
It's still not transferring ownership.
Right. So now the biggest thing with a usufruct is the money that's allocated by that first spouse that passes can't be redirected. It has to go to where they allocated after the death of the second spouse.
Yes.
And because what could typically happen is if you give everything to a surviving spouse, the surviving spouse doesn't have any obligation, if it's not forced heirs, to give it to your children. They can redirect it to their new spouse or someone else.
Right.
So that is one way with the usufruct to make sure that the first spouse that passes, or the first deceased spouse, their portion goes where they designated, no matter what.
Correct.
Even if the second spouse decides to live a different life.
Right. And the only issue becomes is if you've converted it to cash, and we can talk about what that looks like, and what you're supposed to do and what people do.
Okay. Let's go to a break. This is Doug Sunseri. Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back on WWL, AM, FM, Odyssey.com.
Get the WWL shows you love delivered to your phone free. Download the Odyssey app and follow your favorites. Bobby Hebert, Mike Detillier, Steve Geller. Listen when you want, how you want. Or tell your smart speaker, play WWL. Breaking news about the Saints, Pelicans, and LSU on WWL is powered by BetMGM. Smarter bets start with BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app or visit BetMGM.com today. WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers. Call 444-4444.
He didn't have,
That's
but he had a
444-4444.
he didn't do an alternate beneficiary.
Sports Talk is brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, baseball fans, got a feeling about who's hitting a home run today? Don't just sit on it. FanDuel wants you to call your shot with daily dingers. All you have to do is make your pick on who's hitting a home run, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a shot at bigger winnings. Now, when your favorite slugger hits that walk-off, you'll feel like a winner too. Daily Dingers on FanDuel is free to play, and you can lock in a pick every day of the MLB season. That's why FanDuel is the home for home runs. So are you ready to play your game? Check out Daily Dingers at FanDuel.com/local. That's FanDuel.com/local to make your free pick on who's hitting a homer today. Big hits can mean bigger winnings on FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB and WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permanent parishes only. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-7867.
Here it comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. It's so loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money, getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist, clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is GiveMeTheVin.com. We love to buy cars. People don't trust car buyers. People think the price is going to be wrong, and people think it's going to be a hassle. Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is what we do at GiveMeTheVin.com, and that's what makes us America's best car buyer. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com right now and get a quote on yours.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Alex Cohen, patented hypnosis. Lose weight, destroy cravings, late day binges, stress eating, no hunger, no willpower. Only $59.99 or your money back. In town August 6th and 8th. Sign up at AlexCohen.com. GOEN. That's AlexCohen.com.
100% fiber, 0% runaround. Visit RevFiber.com.
Look who has extra pep in their step.
Well, I just finished my to-do
What age
list.
is
Gas
Generation
tank is
X?
full, tonight's dinner plans are set, grocery shopping is complete, and I even got everything for those barbecues and pool parties we have planned. You know what's even better?
What?
Every one of those stops gets me a bit of money back
How are you doing that?
by using Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app where I earn cash back on gas, groceries, and dining out. They even gave me a cashback bonus on my first grocery trip.
So that extra pep comes from all that cash back. Looks like I need to download Upside.
You really do.
Earn cash back on errands and everyday essentials. Download Upside and use promo code VIBE to earn an extra $5 cash back on your first purchase at one of over 100,000 available locations. That's promo code VIBE for an extra $5 cash back.
You got like 3 minutes here.
Yeah.
You could just go and you start when you hear the music.
Terms and conditions.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. Got a couple minutes before we go to the break. Now, here's an interesting statistic. The first wave of people who are going to receive this wealth transfer of $100 trillion are the Generation X.
I don't think I'm going to be part of that.
1965 to 1980.
I know, but I am in that group, and I don't think I'm going to be getting the wave of that.
Well,
my father has already passed, and my mother is.
Okay, well, let's move on. 1965, 1980, you're going to receive that. The other thing is the largest beneficiary of this one wealth transfer will be the women, because usually the women outlive the husbands. And so they're going to receive $54 trillion in this time period when their husbands go. Why do the women live longer?
I think we're just stronger. I think they think we have more tenacity. Sorry.
You think?
Yeah. I think we probably take better. Well, I'm going to say not everyone, because you take exceptionally good care of your health, but I think women have a tendency to take better care of their health than men.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Listen, I've seen all these men walking around with these bellies that look like they could see.
See, okay. All right. Stop there. Now, we're probably going to get a lot of texts now.
That's fine. It's about heart issues. You asked me.
Men
are not as in good shape as the women.
All right. There you go. Well, so the women will be the beneficiary of men not taking care of themselves.
Probably.
There you go.
There you go.
And also, too, a lot of this wealth won't be cash. It'll be in homes and retirement accounts and investment accounts, small businesses, mineral rights,
rental property. And we're going to talk about that after, because I'm going to talk about some mistakes people are making.
I would like
all
to
that.
talk about something that I have seen. I have 2 cases right now. One of them's been going on for 5 years. They both are being litigated for the same reason.
And there's one.
It's how a will was written.
And I have one that's 20 years.
It's
because,
crazy.
and we'll tell you why the mistakes not to make. Now, there's theory and there's execution. And a lot of estate plans look brilliant on paper, but horrible in execution.
Sure.
I mean, you have to be brilliant to write this paper up, but you have to have no common sense to try to enforce it on somebody.
Yeah, I get it.
And basically, we'll talk about that. So we're going to the break. We're going to national news. We're going to local news, and we'll be back in about 8-9 minutes and all things legal for hour number 2. So stay tuned, and we'll see you then.
The Big 870 AM WWL New Orleans, 105.3 WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, an Odyssey station.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. More details on what is now being called by Germany's interior minister an Islamist terrorist attack. A van ramming into a crowd at a pride event in Berlin and the driver getting out and slashing people with a machete, says the official. 1 dead, 29 others injured, some critically hurt. ABC's Britt Clennett.
Berlin police say the 21-year-old suspect is known to them. Investigators have not shared a possible motive, but say he has ties to local Islamist groups.
Just last week, Germany actually raised the security alert to high, warning that plans to attack the country were clearly discernible.
The German official says the man has an extensive criminal record. He's a German citizen of Lebanese descent. Gasoline prices rising. The average price of a gallon of regular grade is over $4 now. Threat of a wider war. The Houthis, Iran-backed rebels in Yemen, have opened a new front targeting Saudi Arabian oil exports. 2 wars. ABC's Martha Raddatz.
The total number of U.S. service members killed since the war began nearly 5 months ago is 18. But this week, on the Pentagon's public database, the number was lowered from 18 to 14. The president acknowledging there were 18, but inexplicably referring to the toll coming from 2 wars. Republican Congressman Thomas Massey said on X, "Let me explain this absurd ruse. The Pentagon is pretending there have been 2 Iran wars separated by a brief ceasefire."
U.S. and Iran have stopped nightly attacks for the moment. Nearly 400,000 people confined to their homes or evacuated because of wildfires. In Spain and France, say emergency officials. Evacuees include American Tammy Hutchinson and her husband near Bordeaux.
It escalated pretty quickly. You could see the wind shift, and it really got thick smoke, and it was real, a lot of ash falling out of the sky.
Listening to ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments, just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
These days, heading back to school means more than pencils and notebooks. It means laptops, tablets, online accounts, and a lot of personal information moving across the internet. WebRoot Total Protection gives families powerful online defense tools with antivirus, VPN, cloud backup, identity protection, and more, helping keep your digital life secure throughout the school year and beyond. Go to webroot.com/radio and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/radio for 60% off. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
Days of protests have continued in Madison, Wisconsin after a deadly police shooting of a black man, Corey Ruiz, caught on cell phone video that went viral. ABC's Ika Jachi.
Police say the officer who fired was injured by that knife. None of the officers were wearing body cameras,
the department doesn't require its officers to use them. All 4 officers are now on administrative leave. The State Justice Department investigating this as a homicide. And this morning, the family, joined by attorney Ben Crump, is demanding charges.
After scandal and drama in Maine, Democrats now have a new U.S. Senate nominee to challenge incumbent Republican Susan Collins. ABC's Christiane Cordero.
Longtime state politician and fifth-generation logger Troy Jackson won the overwhelming majority of delegates at a first-of-its-kind convention Saturday. He became the nominee after the primary winner, Graham Plattner, dropped out of the race amid a sexual assault allegation from an ex-girlfriend, which he denies. Jackson is considered a progressive populist, campaigning on issues like Medicare for all and tax cuts for the working class. Among the voters he's bringing into his pitch, those who supported Plattner and now feel left out.
Welcome to Philly, LeBron. Signs are up around Philadelphia now that LeBron James announced online that he is signing with the 76ers. Caitlin Clark and Team Spoon beat Team Coop in the WNBA All-Star Game. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as big wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments, just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
WWL First News, I'm Courtney P. on your official weather station, WWL.
Happy Sunday. It's a nice summer day, but it will be very hot and humid with plenty of sunshine and will trend mostly dry with a very small chance for a stray shower. This afternoon, temperatures will be in the mid-90s, but it will feel like the 100s. So try to stay cool and hydrated today.
WWL TV meteorologist Alexa Trishler will be back with the forecast. Heads up for your work week. It's going to be hot. WWL TV's Lily Cummings tells us more.
The National Weather Service says heat index values could climb as high as 115 degrees over the next several days, with heat advisories and possible excessive heat warnings expected. City officials are urging everyone to stay hydrated, limit your time outdoors, and take frequent breaks in air conditioning. And remember, never leave a child or pet alone in a vehicle, even for a short time.
The NOPD is investigating a shooting that happened overnight. Officers were called to Carondelet at Canal just before 11:30 last night. Officers found a man and a woman, both suffering from gunshot wounds. Both victims were taken to a local hospital for treatment. We now know the winner of the American Seafood Cook-Off. The competition pitted the best seafood cooks from around the country for the title of King or Queen of American Seafood. Louisiana was represented by Lafayette chef Chris Allen of Pamplona Tapas Bar and Restaurant. However, the winner was Quang Tran of Massachusetts, who won with his duel of New England lobster dish. The MoonPay X Games enters its third and final day. Competitions today will include men's and women's skateboard tricks competitions and BMX dirt bikes stunts. There will also be a fan festival in Champion Square, live music games, and public skate tracks will be on hand. Louisiana native Wyatt Fontenot took home gold yesterday on day 2 of the competition, winning Moto X Best Whip.
WWL Sports is brought to you by People's Health, and this countdown to training camp is presented by TrainSouth.com. It's hard to stop a train, but it's easy to afford one. When the Saints report the training camp this Tuesday, they'll have a bit of a new look on defense. New Orleans will replace cornerback Alante Taylor and linebacker Demario Davis, who both left in free agency. But they also made some key additions in the offseason, including linebacker Caden Ellis, who will play a big role in 2026, says Matthew Paris of the Times-Picayune.
Caden Ellis, I think, is going to be a pass rushing threat for this team, just the way that Brandon Staley likes to use linebackers. So maybe even if the 2 pass rushers he signed don't give you that juice that you were hoping for, they kind of have another weapon in Ellis that I think will allow him to be a little bit more creative.
This year's X Games wrap up today in the Caesars Superdome. The final day of the competition kicks off this afternoon at 2 p.m. and ends with the crowning of this year's XGL League champion. Mario Jerez, WWL Sports.
Now, the Serve Pro Cleanup, Restoration, and Construction forecast on WWL.
Happy Sunday. It's going to be really hot and humid today with plenty of sunshine. Temperatures will be in the mid 90s, but it could feel like up to 105 degrees. So make sure you keep yourself cool and hydrated. Tonight we'll see mainly clear skies with temperatures in the 80s. This evening it's going to be a warm and muggy night. Early this work week we'll have lots of sunshine every day with a small chance for a stray shower, but we'll trend mostly dry. We have more hot weather on the way this week. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 90s, and it could feel like up to 110 degrees in the afternoons. From WWL Louisiana, I'm meteorologist Alexa Trishler.
Hey, Doug, real quick, when y'all are talking this hour, try to not hit the wires on the mic so much.
Yeah.
You could hear it like click, click, click a little bit.
We're hitting the wires.
WL, the news talk sports powerhouse of the Gulf South. It's all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Underwritten by Nico and Seamson Law Firm and the Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers talk and text line 504-260-1870 or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Here's Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, hour number 2. All things legal. We're on till 10 o'clock. And Michelle and I will be off for 3 weeks. We're going to be away. Now, when we say we are away, we got people at our house who are staying here. So don't. And they're locked and loaded. So
they are locked and loaded.
So forget about it.
We got 2 killer cats.
I got 2 killer cats, and we got. So Albert will be hosting the next 3 weeks. So if you don't hear me for 3 weeks, I'm okay. In fact, I'm probably having a heck of a good time. So don't worry about it. And we'll be back, I guess, 2 weeks before Labor Day, the 28th. Will be our next show.
Right.
So I'll enjoy the time off, and we'll have a little time off also for the Saints season, because if the Saints play at 12 o'clock, we get to sleep late.
Right.
And we will be also you moved your office. So if everybody went to your old office, you have a new office.
We moved to 4040 Florida Street, Suite 101.
Okay, now
it's a beautiful new space.
It's not too far from the old office.
It's not.
How would you describe how to get there?
Yeah, well, if you're from Mandeville, it's the road behind the cut-through road to get to Rouse's on the East Causeway Express, where the police are always there and you can't go more than 25 miles an hour.
In fact, they probably pull them over in our parking lot, huh?
Actually, a little bit further down, but
A little further down.
Yeah, they pull them out in that apartment complex.
You can hit Rouse's from the backside.
Yeah.
Right, if you go right past your office.
We're actually where Bonvenue Bank used to be. We took over their space. Very nice. It's a beautiful building. We love it. We are so happy to be there. First floor, no elevators, no stairs.
Yes.
Lots of room.
Yes, and so you don't need a unworking elevator to get there.
No, or stairs or
stairs.
All that. No.
Well, good.
Yeah, so we're extremely happy.
And it does help, because we do so much estate planning that a lot of people who do come are they're up in age. And that's so you just park and go.
Park and go.
When we
great
built
parking, there's a FedEx box out front, which I always love.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
We when we bought our building 25 years ago, it was like 2001. Yeah, it's 25 years ago we bought it. We were deciding whether to go to Lakeway or just buy a building where you can just park and walk. And we did a lot of wills, estate planning. We had a lot of senior citizens, elderly people who a lot of times they have a little hard time getting around.
Sure.
And we decided let's do the park.
Yeah.
Let's just where it's easy accessible.
Yep.
Where you didn't have to go in a parking lot up 10 floors, down 10 floors, back up 30 floors. So all right.
Yeah, so we are very, very happy where we are.
Yes, that is good. Also, just a little news. Liz Morrell, the charges were dropped. The most ridiculous, ignorant, horrible charges that were ever assessed against Attorney General. Attorney Generals are supposed to enforce the law.
Right.
And I get letters from, I used to get letters from Attorney General I disagree with. Didn't like it. It was demand for maybe, and we had to respond to it. Maybe we disagreed 100%. but it is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, it's just a state of what people do these days. You don't like them, and so you can't have a difference of opinion. You've got to try to destroy them.
Well, I just don't like weaponizing government
They do, yeah.
for political purposes. And Liz is a very, very good attorney general. You may disagree with her political philosophy. So what? I mean, so what? Just deal with it in a political forum. A lot of people don't like her because what she stands for. She's just, a good family woman, good Christian woman, and a lot of people have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And they think, so I'm glad for Liz. She's very, very good, very, very good attorney general. And if you have a political disagreement with the attorney general of Baton Rouge, you just air it out. You just air it out like like everything else. You just talk it out. You advocate. Public opinion will go one way or the other. Maybe right, maybe wrong, but it is absolutely. And I hope there is an investigation, because this is the deal. If they can do it to her, they can do it to any of us.
Oh, absolutely.
And they can weaponize. And it was such a disproportionate thing. It was a $400,000 bond for attorney general, and they have bonds for $10,000, $15,000, $50,000 for rapists, murderers, and armed robbers. And I mean, it's just outrageous. And I'm happy for her, and I hope how this got started and whoever started it is held accountable, because this is bigger. This is big.
Yeah, I think Landry will get to the bottom of it.
Yes. Also, we were talking about the great wealth transfer that's happening. It's starting to happen, and $124 trillion is going to be transferred next 20 years, 25 years, which is a lot. It's a lot of money. And there's a lot of what I'm finding out too is in the marketplace of estate planning. A lot of people have a lot of different ideas about how to do estate planning, and that comes with attorneys.
Sure.
I remember when I was in the NFL doing agent and starting to have this now that I'm doing NIL. And I have a client who signed for a couple $1 million. Everybody had an opinion on how to invest that money. I mean, everybody's got an opinion.
Sure.
And also, when someone has a lot of money or some money, everybody, a lot of different opinions on what should you do from an estate planning perspective. And my philosophy was guided by attorney David McDaniel, who was my, I guess, mentor in estate planning. Bill Beck. I work for Bill Beck now out of school, and David McDaniel. And David, I remember he did a will of a very famous person who happened to own a football team, but I don't know. I'm not going to disclose any names. Back around 1990, it was only 8 pages, and I thought when I read it, because I was carrying his briefcase at the time, and sort of just doing his getting his legal pads or whatever he needed at the time, and he would I commented. I said, "Well, why is it only 8 pages?" He goes, "That's all it needed to be." And that always has stuck with me the last 40 years, 35 years, because I think a lot of estate plans are overthought.
Yeah, they try to make it more complicated.
They make it more complicated. And the complications cause more problems than it solves. And I'm more like to keep it simple, because you need execution. A lot of coaches, I remember the great Lou Tepper, who coached with Jerry DiNardo. He had said, and he ended up getting fired and getting Coach DiNardo fired, saying it's going to take 4 years for my team to learn this defense. It was so complicated. And they didn't learn it year one. He
wanted his job. Huh?
It was such a stupid quote, but it was. He ended up getting fired with Coach DiNardo a year later. And I think estate plans are a lot like that, in the sense that I always, everything goes back to football, but I said it's like teaching the West Coast offense to a junior high team. In theory, the West Coast offense might be brilliant. And it might be appropriate if you have a full-time CPA and you have all the sophistication to it. But it's like teaching it to junior high students. And so no matter how brilliant it is, if you can't execute on it, it doesn't do you any good. And, you know, we as a practice, you know, I always tell a story about a lady who had a 63-page trust that somebody, an estate planner, gave to her.
Didn't give it to her. I'm sure she paid a lot of money for it.
She paid 5 figures for it.
I'm sure.
And her head was about to explode. And she says, "Can you do something about this for me?" And I looked at her and I said, we ended up doing a 3-page will with independent administration.
Yeah.
And she felt like she went from being so confused. And I've even sat in on a couple of these discussions incognito on these
Plate liquor dinners?
Yeah, the plate liquor dinners. And I started asking questions like, well, why do you need to do this? Why do you need to do that? And they started getting irritated with me because the more paper you have them sign, the more you can charge as an attorney.
Sure.
And the more complicated you make things, I guess people will be more willing to pay for it. But I'm more of, let's just do what we need to do and make it simple, because if you can't execute on it, it doesn't do you any good.
Yeah.
And I think one of the mistakes that people, you know, a lot of this wealth is tied up in, you know, maybe rental property or commercial property or maybe farms or, you know, vacation homes and that sort of thing, or businesses. And I tell the biggest area of litigation we have in successions is like maybe, you know, businesses or a lot of rental property. So let's say someone has a couple hundred units or 50 units, 25 units, and they give it to 4 children. And one child wants rental income, okay? One child wants to renovate it all and upgrade it. One child wants it sold. You know, and neither position is wrong. It's that they have different needs. But they put all 4 of them in possession of it. And they have 4 philosophical differences on how to run it. And that's when you start having problems. And then you have one heir who's maybe, you know, doing all the work and the other 3 heirs aren't. And then they cause resentment like that. What I'm telling people is if you have a lot of maybe, I guess, property or you have a business, what you're going to do, best thing to do is sell it. If one of the heirs want to buy it out, let them do it, but sell it. If you have your child in the business, then you should pre-plan and have maybe a key, you know, maybe a buy-sell agreement where they would have insurance to buy out the other heirs. But don't put your sibling or your children in a business together, because if they didn't get along perfectly before, they're not going to get along after.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many people. Now, one of the cases, so I don't be too specific about it, but mom owned a lot of property and her kids never got along well. And they had every type of kid, and you know, they had 4 kids. They had one who was the business guy. You had one who just wanted to stay away from his 3 siblings, sort of lived on his own. You had one who had, you know, substance abuse problems, and you had one who never could keep a job. And mom thought that what I'm going to do is give them all 4 of this property to work together. And we had a 250-page document drawn up by a downtown law firm on how this is going to work to cover every possible contingency. And it's a brilliant document. But 20 years later, they're still fighting. It was the most, you know, and I said, why didn't someone explain to this lady that you are causing disaster for your children? Why don't you just have the executor sell everything, because you get a stepped up basis on your taxes,
Yeah.
and sell it and give them cash and let them go their own way. And if one of them wanted to buy it out, let them go get financing and buy it out.
I think a lot of times what estate planners aren't doing is asking, for me, the main question: what's your goal?
Yes.
What's your goal? And, you know, based upon that, then you can manage your expectations. I'll tell you where we have the most litigation. on the North Shore right now in my office is people go to see an estate planner or an attorney. They get a draft of a will or a trust. Then they try to make their own holographic will, pulling some of the language they like out of these documents, which don't go together, which don't make any sense, which you then start fighting over. Because you know why? Both of these people, they didn't want to spend the money to continue with the attorney to finish the will. Now, I don't understand how, that's not how our office operates. But anyway, and so those two have cost 10 times the amount of money that they would have paid for an attorney to draw up a will.
Right, right.
So my warning to people is, if you go see a lawyer and you get a draft of a will, please do not draft your own out and pull whatever language you think is nice out of it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It doesn't go together.
Or the AI, a lot of AI language.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Now the AI, I think, is very good on raising the issues in the state. It's very, like, if you want to ask chat, what are some of the things I have to address in my estate, I think it's very good. But when you start asking it to draft a specific language, it's going to be a problem.
For sure.
Because Louisiana has some very unique features that other states don't have. And it's just, I think it's, what you were referring to is what I call Yogi Berra wills. Yogi Berra used to say 90% of baseball is 50% mental. And a lot of wills read like that. And you're like, what? If they're self-drafted or they pulled from AI. And what happens is it causes more problems than it solves.
Oh, sure.
So, I think we'll talk for the rest of the hour. But, a lot of what you want to do is have it so you can implement it. When you're a football coach, a lot, when I was in football, you had a lot of genius football coaches who got fired because their defense and offense was too complicated for the players to run. And a lot of the issues that we have right now with the states that we're doing is the language doesn't fit where that client is in their life. You don't write a will that is that you would write for maybe an industrialist who has $500 million for someone who's got maybe a couple $1 million or $100,000. You don't need all that same language.
Right.
And we also have, and we'll talk a little bit about this, a lot of people come in and say they want to form a living trust now. And the first question I ask is why?
Yeah, me too.
And a lot of times when I ask them why, they say, well, to avoid probate. I said, any other reason? No. I said, well, that causes more complications than it solves.
Yeah.
Now, you can have a trust inside of an estate, which a will, which is, if you have a spendthrift child or you have a child with substance abuse or you have a special needs child, absolutely. But to form a trust now, I'm like, why? And there are certain circumstances that it is valid. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
When storms knock out your TV, your internet, and newspapers can't reach you,
Hey, Mario.
we can. Energy official.
Do we have any text?
No, just that you should listen to the Miley Cyrus version of Jolene.
Gotcha. All right.
People are moving. We have generators here.
Make sure a working radio is part of your emergency preparation plans. No matter what, we've got your back. WWL.
Hi, I'm Elena, and I've worked with some of the largest payroll processing companies in the world. And let me tell you, nothing disrupts a business faster than payroll issues and the IRS. If you're struggling to file payroll taxes on time, facing penalties, or missing payroll tax deposits, don't wait. Get the advice you need from the experts at Go Tax Resolution. We aren't just tax professionals. We have former IRS collection and examination agents, and they know exactly how the system works, and most importantly, how to help you work through it. With payroll issues, it's not a matter of if the IRS is coming, it's when. Get ahead of the problem, take control of your situation, and call Go Tax Resolution today. Friendly, experienced, on your side. Call us at Go Tax Resolution, spelled GEAUX, because when it comes to payroll tax problems, it's time to go with the pros. Or visit us at gotaxresolution.com, GEAUX, taxresolution.com.
My name's Robin Fletcher. I smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar in March. My best friend came with me. Neither one of us smoked a cigarette. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend and them went. None of them have smoked a cigarette, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a seminar of the Stop Smoking, and it worked. A friend of mine also went, and he still no longer smokes, and it was just amazing.
Have you tried the only stop smoking hypnosis in America, proven useful by the U.S. Patent Office that reprograms your subconscious? Alex Goen patented hypnosis. Destroys your connections to cigarettes. No cravings, irritability, or weight gain. Only $59.99 or your money back. Stop Smoking Seminar Thursday, August 6th. Courtyard by Marriott Metairie, 8 p.m. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Or Saturday, August 8th. Courtyard by Marriott, Covington, Mandeville, 2 p.m. Weight loss at 11 a.m. Sign up at alexgoen.com. Goen. That's alexgoen.com.
Call in all Saints fans. Game day is almost here, and you've been drafted to enter the Coca-Cola Plus New Orleans Saints Fantasy Football Experience with a chance to host your league's 2026 draft from the Caesars Superdome. This could be your fantasy draft experience of a lifetime. Grab an irresistible ice-cold Coca-Cola and enter for a chance to win at Coca-ColaFantasyFootball2026.com.
No purchase necessary. In 7/31/26. Visit Coca-ColaFantasyFootball2026.com for full details and rules.
Do what I did and finally take control of your weight for good with Kronos Body Health and Wellness. It's the region's premier medical weight loss program, ranked #1 by local physicians and by me, Tommy Tucker. Affordable, effective GLP-1 medications and programs for your body's unique needs from Kronos without a subscription. Go in weekly or use a virtual clinic. Either way, they'll help you achieve real, sustainable weight loss. Dr. Scott and his team are there to completely support you through your entire journey. Go to chronosbhw.com or call them today.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Back to attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri on WWL. Stream all things legal and our time-shifted podcasts on Odyssey, TuneIn, and now on the iHeartRadio app. Or connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. We're talking a little bit about estate planning, and we were talking about when people come in. Like, I think 95% of the time, people come in and say, "I read on the internet, I should do a trust," and we end up talking them out of it, even though. If we, from a lawyer who does a trust, it probably costs 6 or 7 times as much as it costs to do a will.
Sure.
But with independent administration, I mean, if you could tell us why a trust would be, why a lot of times with independent administration, a trust is probably not necessary unless you have a specific purpose for it.
Right. Well, I think in some states, probate is a very difficult process and an expensive process. So the way to get around that is to do a living trust. In Louisiana, we have what's called independent administration, which allows the executor or the executrix, that's the verbiage most people know, to act independently, meaning they don't have to go get court approval to sell assets, to encumber assets. They can do essentially whatever the decedent could have done to manage the estate. And so like when I first started practicing and doing succession, we had to run to court and advertise to,
Jim
you know,
from Tangipahoa.
to do every, you know, to sell every, you know, to do any type of action. So the attorneys were constantly in court, therefore the estate was paying more. With independent administration, you don't have to do that. And it makes probate in Louisiana extremely easy. And especially if you know where all the assets are, you don't even have to put it under administration. You can just probate a will and place people in success in possession. And so we do that a lot because, and that's why I always tell people, at least have somebody who knows where all your things are, all your passwords, all your bank accounts, so that you don't have to have it under administration. They already know where everything is,
You can
and it
flip
makes
over.
it, you can flip it over super easy. And even when you have I have one now where I'm doing a trust that came from another state, but I'm still having to open it because there was nothing in the name of the trust.
Right.
And so if the assets aren't in the name of the trust, you still have to do, you know, you
Yeah,
have a
transfer
pour
it
over
over.
will, and you have to probate anyway.
Yes. Now, like if you have property in a lot of different states, then it's good to do a trust because you can put all the property in one trust and then you don't have to do probate or.
Or you could have put them in an LLC and
Right.
you wouldn't have to
That's
do
another
any
way
of
of
that.
doing it. It's another way of doing it. So, but anyway, it is a lot of times what you read off the internet as far as trust is concerned may not apply to Louisiana because Louisiana's with independent administration is very, very efficient. Is very, very efficient. Let's go to phone lines. Who do we got? Mario.
Jim from Tangipahoa Parish.
All right, let's go to Jim. Hey, Jim, you on All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri.
Child custody question here.
All right, what you got?
Regarding previous litigation, so we went to court for, well, I mean, that's my brother-in-law, but he went to court for his child for one incident. It was regarding the medical providers. But right before the judgment went down, there was an incident, because we're going back for change of custody. There was an incident that took place that affected child custody. Although we went to court for the primary providers, the medical providers, can we bring in back, when we go back to court, the incident that happened right before the judgment went down that wasn't regarding the medical provider?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Do you already have a motion to modify pending?
Yes, it's pending, but right before we went for the last judgment, something happened. We went to the last judgment regarding our medical providers. It had nothing to do with change of custody. It was regarding the medical providers. But right, like a week before that judgment went down 2 years ago, something major happened that had nothing to do with what we were doing the litigation on. And are we able to bring that up now that we're going for the litigation of change of custody? We went for one thing.
It would have had to have been in your pleading, or else you really can't expand your pleading. So I'd have to see exactly what was filed. You said you went in for a judgment 2 years ago, so I'm assuming that matter is already concluded. If you have, if there's another motion to modify custody that's pending, and you've had an action that had occurred before you got to court on that motion, I would have amended my pleading so that everybody's put on notice, because the other side could argue that you're expanding your pleadings. Depends on what who your judge is, and the, you know, whether they will let you expand them without having supplemented or amended your pleadings.
You see what I'm saying? It wasn't what we went for the medical providers had nothing to do.
No, I understand that.
With
yeah, I understand that. But you said you also had a motion to modify pending, and I didn't know.
Now we do. Right now we're going to court for that right now.
Right,
Like,
and so the new incident just occurred after you filed, correct?
The new incident, the incident that I'm referring to that we're trying to use in court happened right before the last judgment 2 years ago, like a week before that, but it had nothing to do with what was in the front of the court.
Yeah, you'd have to see what your judgment. So if your judgment for that didn't say that all other all of the provisions of your judgment remain in full force and effect, you should be fine. What you couldn't have done, what you couldn't have done is that incident take place in a judgment. You get a judge. It didn't take place. You get a judgment, and then you have then lost all chances to in a modification to bring any of those up. But it sounds like it was in between. But I would have assumed that would have been in part of your motion to modify.
Right, yeah, well, no, yeah, it's the other party was trying to modify, but there was incidents that happened in between that time of that judgment. You know what I'm saying? Like the judgment to change the medical providers was not in the scope of what took place. This incident wasn't in the scope of that. It was a completely. We're going now for change of custody. The other side is, and something serious happened like a week before the judge put down their ruling on another matter completely. Like the judge put down the gavel a week later on a completely separate thing, not regarding child custody. So would that would probably be something that's usually being able to use. I was told that if it's not under the scope of what you're going to court for, then you can enter it in most cases.
I have to see your pleadings, but I would think it would that the judgment regarding the medical provider would not stop you from bringing the other allegation that came up a week before that judgment was rendered.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I was told. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thanks for the call. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
This is WWL, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Listen when you want, how you want on the TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Odyssey apps.
Let's go. Inside Black and Gold.
I still have high hopes for Kamara. Maybe I'm just being blind to this trend in his numbers, but I'm hoping that there's some kind of resurgence here year 2 with Kellen Moore.
And if there is, it's probably going to be because the workload is a lot smaller. Alvin has proven he can excel on a smaller workload where you're not getting 200 rushing attempts because you don't need 200 rushing attempts. You need to star on those 100 rushing attempts you get.
Follow Inside Black and Gold on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Need to order food for your workplace?
Yep.
That's a rhetorical question. Who are you?
Oh, I'm May, an admin who loves EasyCater.
Well, may I continue? I'm the voice of EasyCater. And don't you have work?
Actually, EasyCater saves me so much time ordering food for the office, I thought I'd take a minute to spread the word.
Well, this is a 30-second spot.
Got a Dan from Baton Rouge on hold.
Okay,
Dan,
good.
Baton Rouge, yep.
Hey, where? How's that?
You trying to take my gig?
Start an order at easycater.com.
What's going on here?
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This public service announcement is brought to you by Primary Care Plus. July is Ultraviolet Safety Awareness Month. Reminder to take care of yourself while enjoying time outdoors. Apply sunscreen with an SPF of 30 or higher. Wear protective clothing and a hat. Seek shade during the hottest part of the day. Choose sunglasses that block UV rays. And talk with your dermatologist about regular skin cancer screenings. With 13 locations across Louisiana, Primary Care Plus is here to help you stay healthy, active, and protected all year long. Primary Care Plus. Your doctors for life.
When's the last time you cleaned your air conditioning system and air ducts? If you're like most people, never. If you could see what's probably in there, layers of dust, mold, dead bugs, even rodent droppings, you'd be disgusted. Breathing that in every day, even while you eat and sleep, can make you feel tired and run down while blaming it on allergies. Gulf State Services Group can clean your entire system, usually in one day, letting you feel better, breathe cleaner, and live healthier. Visit GulfStateServicesLLC.com and schedule a free system consultation. Gulf State Services LLC.com.
Morning. So glad you're here.
Hi, Mrs. Broussard. J&J Exterminating is here to help.
So the thing we noticed was
Ants along the back door when it rains.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where
The ants come in for a midnight snack if Tiny's bowl sits overnight.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the
Think fast, Mom.
The window Jesse's broken 3 times.
wow, you guys catch everything.
Comes with the job.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Bonvenue Bank's new Capital Region President, Mr. Randy Vicknair.
To say that I'm excited to now be with Bonvenue Bank would be an understatement, because Bonvenue is a bank truly built by Louisiana people for Louisiana people. That's why everyone on my Capital Region team is from right here, just like me. We're rapidly growing throughout South Louisiana, because this is not only a great place to do business, it's a great place to live and raise a family.
Bonvenue Bank, built to be here.
I'm Randy Vicknair, and I'm proud to be a Bonvenue banker.
It's Dr. Jonathan Weiler. Rejuvenate Medical's signature stack week has been extended, but only through July 27th. Peptide therapy and sexual wellness medications are buy one, get one half off. Get more info at rejuvenamemedical.com.
You've been in an accident and the insurance company won't pay for your rental or the diminished value of your vehicle, you aren't alone. I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 475-2323.
LA 26-20465, office in Baton Rouge.
For a lot of workplaces, the work week doesn't end on Friday. That's why there's Easy Cater, the best way to order food from favorite restaurants for your hardworking team, even on weekends. With Easy Cater, you'll find great options for any group size and any shift, with tools to help meet dietary needs, stay on budget, and simplify expenses, all backed by our award-winning 24/7 support. Easy Cater, your Monday through Sunday workplace food platform. Start an order for your weekend crew at easycater.com.
Back to all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Stream WWL and the shows you love on Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. Or join us on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Dan in Baton Rouge. What you got for us, Dan?
Hey, good morning.
Hey.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
My wife and I have 4 kids that we have born together, and my wife had 2 adult children when we got married. In my will, the naked heirs are the 4 natural born that we both share. According to the attorney that drew that up, I had no responsibility to list the other 2 children, her first 2 children, because I never tried to adopt them. They were too old, quite frankly, and her father was still alive at the time. The majority of the assets are in IRAs that are strictly in my name. So I'm kind of trying to sort out what happens if I fall over first, or what happens if she falls over first. How's that all going to work in terms of who gets what at the end of the day?
Well, the IRA, your beneficiary statement. So I would assume you would have your wife as your beneficiary, and then if she predeceases you, you would have your contingent beneficiaries, which I assume would be your kids.
Okay, so the contingent beneficiaries, when I talked to the investment firm about that, they said in order to make a change to add them, my wife would have to be full in agreement and sign that off.
Correct.
Does that apply to contingent? Does that apply to contingent beneficiaries as well?
It would apply to everything. It would I think you have to do contingent too, because it's a community asset.
Yeah.
And it's only in Louisiana, because even though it's in your name, it's a community asset.
Yep.
So she's an undivided 1/2 owner.
Yeah, so you would have you'd have to get it signed off by your wife.
Now, let me say something. This is an assumption that I made based on your statements. I'm assuming your children are over the age of 24, correct?
Every one of them. Yep.
Okay, so they're not and are any of them disabled?
No.
Okay, so they're
Thank
not.
God, no.
Okay, so there's no forced heirship. So you're not. You said the attorney said you're not. You don't have to leave anything to her adult children. You don't have to leave anything to your kids either.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking is, I want to tie up the IRAs such that my wife gets like half, and the rest is distributed evenly amongst my 4 kids.
Right.
But I can't do that unless she signs it off.
Correct.
Now, the other thing you can do is you could do an IRA trust,
Mm-hmm.
where this might be a trust would be appropriate, where you could say that your wife would have use of the trust when you pass, it would go into the IRA trust. Your wife would have use of the IRA, and when when she passes, it goes through your 4 kids. So you could do an IRA trust.
Is that like an addendum to the will, or
No, it's
a living trust.
About or a legal guy?
It would be a separate document that would be the beneficiary of your IRA.
And it would be a living trust now.
Yeah, it would be a living
create
trust.
It now.
And that's one case where.
Would a lawyer create that, or the finance guy create that?
Lawyer. Yeah, you'd have to.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. In your case, it sounds like, and this is where a trust would be very helpful, is a IRA trust, and that's happening more and more, because what you'll do is you'll have someone in a second marriage who might have had an IRA that was started prior to their marriage and then contributed to during their marriage, but they and the other spouse might have had kids from before that you may or may not want them to participate in that, be a beneficiary of the IRA, but you also want your wife to benefit by the IRA. So you could do an IRA trust.
So an IRA trust, is this a 20-page document, a 2-page document?
It's probably about 4. No, it's probably a little long. It's probably about 10, 12-page document, because they have special rules, because it's a little different than a regular trust, because you have to incorporate the language for ERISA, the language for the deferred, basically deferred compensation plan, because you have minimum distributions, you have some new basically federal regulations that would apply to a trust that doesn't apply to a regular trust in Louisiana for for a brokerage account or something, something like that. So, or a trust for a piece of real estate.
So one last question on that. I could be Mr. Nice Guy, and I am a pretty nice guy, I have to say, but I could be Mr. Nice Guy and divide it up so that my kids get a larger share than her two. Add them all as co-beneficiaries and be done with it.
You could do that. You could do that. Yes.
Yeah. I think she'd be more amenable to sign it off if I did that than not.
Well, or you can do if you do the trust, you can do that. Or you do the trust that she doesn't split it with anybody during her lifetime, but whatever's left over will go to your kids.
Okay. So the living trust is 8 to 10 page document.
Yes.
We're going to assume that. A lawyer would have to prepare it.
Yes.
She doesn't have to sign it. And is that going to cost me $1,000, $2,000?
It probably cost you a couple of $1,000. Yes, it would.
A couple $1,000. Okay, but that in the long run is probably the best thing for me to do.
That's one option. That's one option. Yes, that's absolutely one option.
And I have to give you both a compliment, because I did not learn that things like IRAs are pass through until I listened to your program a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
I thought that was all part of the will. Apparently, it's not all part of the will.
No.
It's whoever the beneficiaries are.
Correct.
No, that's right. That's exactly correct. In fact,
Okay. And
yes, sir.
in a way, I'd like to structure that. I just want to, when I drop dead, I just want to cash it out. My wife gets half the cash immediately. The kids get the other half split up amongst them immediately. There's no delay in that. She'd had plenty of money to live on, believe me.
Yeah, your trust can do that.
Yes. Or you could do it as a beneficiary. Yeah. You could split up.
You're split up as beneficiaries.
All right. Thank you for your time.
All right, Dan. Thanks so much. Let's go to our final break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Get the WWL shows you love delivered to your phone free. Download the Odyssey app and follow your favorites. Tommy Tucker, Newell Normand, Scoot. Listen when you want, how you want. Or tell your smart speaker, play WWL. WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers. Call 444-4444.
That's 444-4444. Non-attorney spokesperson, Chad Dudley, New Orleans.
Here he comes. Surprise! The people above your catering business are doing major construction, and the drilling is only during business hours. So loud.
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money, getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist, clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
At Terrebonne General Health System, we believe that health is a journey best traveled together. As your dedicated partner in wellness for over 70 years, we are committed to providing comprehensive, compassionate care. From preventive services, primary and specialty care, to advanced treatments, Terrebonne is French for good earth, and good health here on the good earth sounds just right. Together, we can achieve a healthier, happier future for you and your family. Discover more at tghealthsystem.com.
You know, there's nothing I hate more than dishonest business practices. So I built the company GiveMeTheVin.com around this slogan. We do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. At GiveMeTheVin.com, we show up at your house, check in hand, pay off your payoff. Just that simple. GiveMeTheVin.com.
We're the only 5-star BBB rated card buyer out there.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Alex Goen patented hypnosis. Stop smoking. No cravings, irritability, or weight gain. Walk in a smoker, walk out free. Only $59.99 or your money back. In town August 6th and 8th. Sign up at alexgoen.com. GOEN. That's alexgoen.com.
Glow Resources, complete employer solutions. GlowResources.com.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
You go ahead.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. We've got a couple of minutes left. Michelle, thanks for waking up and
Thank you for having me.
for subbing for Albert. So the next 3 weeks, Albert will be on with guests. We'll be out of pocket, taking a little break.
Yep.
And then we'll be back, I think, August 20. Is it 20? Let's see. The 4th week of August, which will be... Oh, that's your chicken fried. Is that your chicken fried song there?
It is.
We'll be back August 28th. No, August 23rd. Yeah, we'll be back on August 23rd. So for a couple of shows in August, and we'll be well into the Saints preseason. Also, too, if anybody wants to contact you from in God's country, which is Mandeville, where they pick up their garbage in time, they have good police protection. They have no crime. This is a wonderful place to live. Very little crime. Where's your office at?
It's at 4040 Florida Street in Mandeville, and our number is 985-624-9697.
And in St. Tammany Parish, we don't indict people for doing their job either. So that's a nice thing.
We just have other issues.
We got other issues, but that's not one of them. But also, we and you moved your office in Florida Avenue. So if you go to the old office and you don't see anybody there, you go
to the new office.
Go to the new office at 4040.
We've sent out emails, so hopefully all of our clients have gone there.
There you go. And again, as far as with this wealth transfer for estate planning, let me go through real quickly the biggest things that you need. I guess mistakes is you don't have a will. You don't have a power of attorney, which you definitely need. You need a healthcare power of attorney, which is
Yes.
often inside the power of attorney. Also, we're talking about outdated beneficiary designations.
That's right.
So make sure that your IRAs, insurance annuities, or have the correct designation, because that causes problems.
That does cause problems.
Especially if someone died who was a beneficiary,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have a backup beneficiary.
It goes intestate.
And something totally unanticipated happens.
Right.
Also, people who have trusts that have never been funded, which is a nightmare. They spend all this money getting the trust and it's never ever funded properly. Also, if you have a change in season, such as a divorce, or you get remarried, or your children get older and you got grandchildren, it's always a good time to take a look and see if you need to change anything.
That's right. You know what I tell people about beneficiary statements too? That's one of the first things I ask them when they come in, and we talk about what they have in their beneficiary statements. I always recommend that they print them out. This advent of everything digital, and you're relying on a third party to have a document for you. I always say, check your beneficiary statements, contact your financial broker, get a copy of it. And then, that way, if you're ever like, oh, did I change it? All you have to do is go to your file and look. You can scan it and save it on your own computer or server or whatever. But make sure you have access to a copy of it, that you're not relying on a third party.
Now, one thing, if you want to have a succession dispute and you want it to be tied up in the courts, just keep this in mind. Assume that your children will work it out.
That's right.
If you assume your children will work it out, that's not going to happen. So we'll see you in about 4 weeks. Stay tuned next week for Albert, and y'all have a great week.
870 AM, WWL New Orleans, 105.